Hey, y'all. Welcome to a live episode of Andrea Speaks TV. I'm your host, Andrea, back to bring you news and commentary you can use. I hope you're doing well. I hope your family is doing well. I want to say thank you so much for your continued support, okay? All right, we're going to talk about Title 42, y'all. You've heard me, those of you all. First of all, again, thank you so much for your support. I appreciate each and every one of you all. Still going through this sinus, whatever you want to call it, situation. Um, but everything's going to be all right, okay? All right, so let me share this to a few places. Give some people some time to join in. All right, so trying to let some time go by before others join. You all know this platform, for whatever reason, doesn't always send the notifications. Let me give it some time and see. All right, if you can see me and hear me, please make sure you give me a thumbs up. I'm just trying to make sure everything is working before I get started. Please give me a thumbs up if you can hear me and see me. Or also you can leave a comment. That way I know that the comments are working. All right, hello everyone. Hello. Please give me a thumbs up. You can leave a comment. Let me know you can hear me, okay? I'm just trying to give people some time to join in. But also at the same time, I want to make sure you can hear me and see me. Please let me know, are you able to hear me and see me clearly? Please let me know before I get started, okay? And as always, thank you all so much for your support. All right, hey Seashells Prosperity, thank you so much for being here. Okay, thank you. You can hear me and see me clearly. Thank you, okay? Oh my goodness, I wasn't aware of that story, but I pray that the young lady, be healed and be well. I wasn't aware of that, okay? Thank you for presenting the stage to be. Do you mean the broadcast, or let me know what you mean? Oh my goodness. Okay, yeah, I need to read about that. I pray for her family, her loved ones. There's so much going on in the world now. It's just really indescribable, the things that are going on, the measures that people will take, that's a very, tragic story. I pray for her family and all those who loved and knew her. Listen, y'all, I want to come on this evening. Again, I hope that you're doing well. I hope that your family is doing well. I want to come on this evening and talk about something that's going on. It's actually happening this week, and you and I need to be aware of what's going on. Not only do we need to be aware of what's going on, but we also need to be concerned. I want to talk about Title 42. Please let me know in the chat, okay? Are you aware of Title 42? Have you heard that? You could say, well, Andrea, I've heard of it, but I'm not sure what it is, or I haven't heard of it at all. Okay, you all let me know. Have you heard about Title 42? Please let me know if you are aware. Thank you so much for the thumbs up. That lets me know that you can hear me and see me clearly, okay? All right, so Title 42 deals with several components. There are several components. Hello to everyone who is tuning in. Thank you so much for your support. I hope you're doing well. Say hello. Let me know where you're tuned in from. And I'll give you a shout out in the right here on this live video, okay? Title 42 deals with a lot of components. So I want to, you may or may not have seen it in the news or read about it, heard it mentioned. And I want to let you know what's going on this week. If you watched my recent live videos, you heard me say that this actual week, okay, this week would be one that I feel like is, I'm trying to see, y'all, is that a snake in the tree or what is that? I'm not exactly sure what that is. It's something that caught my attention on that branch There, you know how it's like a snake can. Have y'all ever seen a snake like wrapped around a tree branch? That's kind of what it looks like, but I'm not really sure. I'm not as close to it, but that's kind of what it looks like. Not to get off topic, but Title 42, right? Title 42 deals with a lot of components. And I was telling you all there were some events happening this week that, we need to know about. In some form or fashion, it could affect you and I, no matter where we live, what state we're in. So I just want to let you know what's going on, okay? Let me speak about this. Title 42, okay? So there's been a lot of talk about Title 42. With it comes images, okay? So if you do a simple internet search of Title 42, and that's title, Title, and then the numbers 42, Title 42. If you do an internet search, you're going to see, for example, crowds of people trying to cross over a river, trying to cross land, trying to cross the border into our country, okay? More specifically, trying to cross the border between the U.S., the United States, which is where I'm located, the border between the United States and Mexico. And a lot of them, a lot of the immigrants are crossing on the banks of the Rio Grande River, okay? It is expected to end on Thursday. I'm going to give you some more detail about Title 42. It's expected to end on Thursday, and it might be a good time to understand what it's all about, okay? What is Title 42? Okay, I'm glad you asked. Title 42 is a part of the United States law that deals with public health, social welfare, and civil rights. It gives the federal government the authority to take emergency action to keep communicable diseases out of the country, okay? Before President Donald Trump used it in 2020, in the year 2020, it had been used only in 1929 to keep ships from China and the Philippines from entering U.S. ports during a meningitis outbreak. Okay, are you all following? Let me know. Former President Trump invoked the law when the pandemic broke out. Okay, and we all know what was happening at the time, the specific virus and disease that was out there. Okay, but its implementation allowed the Trump administration to expel migrants more quickly without having to consider them for asylum, and it has continued under the Biden administration. Okay, is everyone following along with me? Okay, again, Title 42 deals with public health. Remember, I said it's several components. Some of those components being public health, social welfare, and civil rights. Okay, Title 42 gives the federal government the authority to take emergency action to keep communicable diseases out of the country, okay? Without saying the word. You all know that C word, right? The C word that we just went through, right? Okay. As a matter of fact, also on this week, on May 11th, the same day that Title 42 is ending, the Biden administration is expected to declare an end to the public health emergency related to, y'all know what I'm talking about, right? That C word, okay? So before President Trump used this law or invoked this law in 2020, the article says it had only been used in 1929, and that was to keep ships from China and the Philippines from entering U.S. ports during a meningitis outbreak, okay? Now, why is there talk about lifting Title 42? The Biden administration had repeatedly sought to end the policy, but its plans were delayed by legal challenges from Republican state attorney generals. The pandemic waned, making the public health order that led to the U.S. I'm sorry, I read that wrong, y'all. The pandemic waned, okay, making the public health order that led to using Title 42 moot, and the U.S. Supreme Court canceled arguments. Sorry about that, y'all. I apologize for the coughing, okay? Just a minute. Okay, and the article says, just a minute, get back. Okay, as a matter of fact, let me take this cardigan. Sorry about that, y'all, but I'm coughing. When I get hot, I start to cough. So let me just make some adjustments here, okay? Thank you all so much for your support. Okay, listen, y'all. Why is there talk about lifting Title 42? So basically, the Biden administration had repeatedly sought to end the policy, but its plans were delayed by legal challenges from Republican states' attorney generals. The pandemic waned, making the public health order that led to using Title 42 moot, and the U.S. Supreme Court canceled arguments in the case. Another administration effort to unwind the policy had been blocked by a federal judge in Louisiana. Okay, now, what is the controversy around Title 42, right? You're probably wondering that. Immigration and humanitarian groups accuse the Trump administration of using the pandemic as a pretext to deny tens of thousands of people migrating to the U.S. The chance for humanitarian relief through asylum, okay? They've also criticized the Biden administration for continuing to use it. The groups have said the measures stokes racism, and allows for discrimination because some countries, such as Venezuela, had been exempt. Okay, please let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are on this. Okay, do you feel like using this type of, or invoking this law was a form of racism, as they're saying? Now, the article also goes on to say that the Biden administration started applying Title 42 to Venezuelans in October and began allowing 30,000 Venezuelans a month to enter the country through humanitarian parole, resulting in a drop in the number of Venezuelans crossing the border. In January, the article says Mexico agreed to take more migrants expelled from the U.S., also helping to manage the number of people arriving at the border. But the article says there was an uptick in March with the anticipation of the end to use of Title 42 and warmer weather, the article says, okay? According to the Washington Office on Latin America. Okay, just checking out my surroundings, y'all. Hold on just a minute. Let me see. Okay. After a lull in immigration at the end of the Obama administration, including net zero migration from Mexico, the number of people arriving at the border has jumped, okay? And that's where we pretty much are today. It's been reports said that tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of migrants are, at the border. Some, camped out, have been there for days, maybe weeks. And as I reported in a recent live video, our administration is sending 1,500 troops there to alleviate some of the stress and demand as it relates to the border crisis. But let me continue, okay? World events, the article says, economic disparities, cartels expanding smuggling. Hold on just a minute, y'all. I did something and I may have clicked off of it here. Hold on. Okay, so here, I'm back, y'all. Okay. Oh, wow. I didn't know that. I didn't know that Texas, Seashells Prosperity said Texas is saying immigrants can't buy property in their state. Wow, I didn't know that. Why is that the case, I wonder? Do you know why they're saying that, or some more information? Could you give some more information about that? Now, the article says, world events, economic disparities, cartels expanding smuggling operations, congressional inaction, and outdated immigration laws have meant the number of times border officers encounter people crossing into the country illegally has returned to figures recorded in the early 2000s. Okay. Now, so one of the question is, Will the border be open or not secure if Title 42 ends? Okay. Defining the border as open, I quote, or not secure is more about political rhetoric. Okay, that's according to the article. Now, the article says if Title 42 ends, the government reverts to previous immigration law, which falls under Title 8 of the U.S. Code of Federal Statutes. While border officers can expel people from the country more quickly under Title 42 because they can dispense with the asylum process, migrants aren't assessed penalties they would now face under the Title 8. Among them is up to 2 years in prison if a person re-enters the country illegally after having been removed or deported. Okay, let me read that again, okay, just to be clear. While border officers can expel people from the country more quickly under Title 42 because they can dispense with the asylum process, migrants aren't assessed penalties they would now face under Title 8. Among them is up to 2 years in prison if a person re-enters the country illegally after having been removed or deported. Okay. Now, in the previous article that I just spoke about, I stated that, and I quote, if Title 42 ends, the government reverts to previous immigration law, which falls under the Title 8 of the U.S. Code of Federal Statutes. Now, remember, Title 42, it seems, came about because of, y'all know earlier I was saying, is that a snake wrapped around the tree branch? So now I can see it. The sun is shining on it, and it's just some of the bark is kind of like bulging out. I had to make sure the sun is shining on it, so now I can really see what's in front of me, okay? All right, so again, y'all, Title 42 was used, okay, because of the public health emergency related to, y'all know what I'm saying, the pandemic, okay? The article says, without these consequences, Mexican migrants and others have been using Title 42, and I quote, as a means to get multiple opportunities to enter the United States. Okay, do you feel that immigrants, migrants, if some, would call them, those terms are often used interchangeably. Do you feel that with Title 42 being used, okay, and even now with it ending, okay, with it ending on May 11th, do you feel that some people, some men, women, and children, those who are seeking to cross over the border into the United States, are they just using that because of the, I guess you could say, leniency of this law? Okay, do you all think people are just taking advantage of this opportunity as a free ride into our country, a free way to enter? You all let me know your thoughts, okay? Let's see. Okay. Here's a quote by a policy analyst at the Migration Policy Institute who said, and I quote, that is counterproductive because it in some ways incentivizes migrants to try multiple times. And the more times that migrants try, the more likely that they're successful. Okay. The administration has been requiring people who want to apply for asylum without crossing the border illegally to make appointments through the CBP One app, but the app has been frustrating some when they fail after multiple attempts to get appointments, leaving them waiting in often dangerous and crowded conditions in Mexico. The frustration can lead them to try to enter illegally and then ask for asylum. Okay, you all please share your thoughts on this topic. Now, some terms I'm using, and I can't always assume that you all know exactly what some of these terms mean. Okay, I'm just reading some of the comments. Hello to everyone who's watching. Thank you. We're on talking about Title 42 ending and why you and I should be concerned. Okay, a bill on the Texas state legislature would prohibit many immigrants and H-1B visa holders from China and other countries from owning property in the state. Texas Governor Greg Abbott. Okay, I'm going to do some more research on that. Thank you. Wow. Okay, I appreciate you so much for sharing that, okay? Thank you, everyone. Please, as you join the room, please give me a thumbs up to let me know you can hear me and see me clearly, okay? And I'm going to do some more research on that Title H-1B, okay? Hold on just a minute, y'all. Let me get my screen back going. Please share your thoughts on Title 42 ending. Listen, y'all, I want to let you know. Thank you so much for the thumbs up. Okay, I appreciate you. Listen, y'all, asylum. Okay, you've heard me talk about the migrants coming in seeking asylum. Asylum, okay, by definition, it says is the protection granted by a nation to someone who has left their native country as a political refugee. Okay. So in other words, for example, you can say that, hello, welcome. Okay, Michaelson Joseph, Mike77, thank you. Okay, I appreciate you so much. All right. Listen, so the immigrants are attempting to cross the border into the United States in an attempt to seek asylum. Okay, and I just gave you the definition of asylum, which it says is the protection granted by a nation to someone who has left their native country as a political refugee. Okay, political refugee. Okay, I'm gonna look more into that and figure out how is one classified as a political refugee. Okay, I want to know that information. Okay. All right, so let me go back to the article that I was just reading. Please, if you're watching and tuning in, please leave a comment, shout out where you're tuning in from so that I can give you a shout out in the chat. Okay. All right, y'all, listen. Let's see. Why are cities? Okay, a lot of cities are making noise. Cities, states. Okay, someone in the chat mentioned Texas. Now, why? The question is, why are cities on the border and the interior nervous about what comes next? Listen, y'all. Even with Title 42 in place, nonprofit groups running shelters in the U.S. as well as officials in border cities have had to respond to large groups of people after they've been released by Customs and Border Protection. Okay, that's why we see some, I believe, what's being known as sanctuary cities. Have you all heard about that? They're actually sending migrants by bus. I don't know if they flew them, but they're sending them by bus to cities because they, some cities, some states don't have the resources, okay, to service the influx of migrants that have come in. Okay. Listen to this, y'all. Providing the migrants with housing, food, clothing, and travel assistance to their ultimate destinations, often out of state to where they have family or friends, takes money, volunteers, and space. And that's what I'm telling you all. So think about with Title 42 ending, right? Waves of people, right? Crossing the border into the United States. Who's going to give these people shelter, food, clothing, the basic necessities, right? Who's going to pay for that? Is it you and I, the tax-paying citizens? Where are they going to live? Okay. Another thing that I want you to think about, I'm not saying these people don't need help. I feel like, those in need should receive help. But what I want you and I to think about is it just seemed like there needs to be a better plan for handling this. I would imagine there's some communities in the area where a lot of this is taking place. And what about the food in those communities? The more people, and if somehow they are taken from that area and sent to your community, okay, could you imagine if your local government announced, okay, on this date, we're going to have, just think about right now, your local community, right? Your local town, city, where you live at, right? You know the number of people that live in your area, in your town, right? The general population. Imagine adding on an extra 10 to 20,000 people. Okay. What if your community only has one grocery store? Do you have the space? Okay. Does your community have the space to accept an extra 10 to 20,000 people? Because of Title 42 ending, these people have to have somewhere to go. Okay. There have been cries of how the people are treated inhumanely, right? They can't just be left out there. especially, children, where are they going to go? They could very well be sent to your community. What if you only have one grocery store in your community? So are there now going to be more food shortages because of Title 42 ending? Where are these people going to live? Are they going to take vacant apartments that will otherwise be rented to U.S. citizens? Are they going to take housing from U.S. citizens and in turn give that space to immigrant families so that they can live? Is that going to cause rent to go up? Am I making sense with anything that I'm saying? Okay. I'm sharing this not to scare you, but I want you to think in terms of how this could potentially affect you. That's the question. Are acres going to cost more? There's a saying that says, God isn't creating more land. Okay. These are things that I want you to think about. Okay. You all, please let me know if you are enjoying the content that I'm sharing. Am I making sense with what I'm saying? Okay. These are things that we need to think about. That is true. Mike 777. Right. A lot of a lot of people who may otherwise, vote one way, they're starting to see, hey, something is not necessarily right about what's going on, with this particular group who seem to have always advocated for the black vote. It seems like they're voting, the agendas, the plans that they have in place are not to our advantage at all or benefit at all. It does not appear to be to our benefit at all. Okay, let me keep going about Title 42, y'all. Now, providing, okay, again, think about this, y'all. Think about your own local community, okay? Providing the migrants with housing, food, clothing, and travel assistance to their ultimate destinations, often out of state, to where they have family or friends, takes money, volunteers, and space. Who's going to pay for this? Okay. Who is going to pay for the immigrants, migrant families, men, women, and children, to receive food, shelter, basic needs? Who is going to pay for that? Some officials expect there will be a spike in people coming to the border when Title 42 ends. Okay, so already, even if you were to do your research, right? I know I've reported on this, but even if you were to do your own research, you will see that there are, like I said, tens of thousands, possibly even hundreds of thousands of people right now at the border. Okay, experts are saying, some officials rather, are saying that there will be a spike in people. Okay, there will be a spike in people coming to the border when Title 42 ends this week, May 11th. Like I said, y'all keep May 11th in mind. Please give this video a thumbs up. That lets me know you can hear me and see me. And I'm not having any trouble or issues with the broadcast, okay? Thank you all so much for your support, and I appreciate your cooperation with that, okay? Now, earlier, someone mentioned Texas Governor Greg Abbott, okay? Governors, okay? So the Texas governor, Greg Abbott, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis have been making what the article says political points by busing and flying migrants from Texas to Democrat-run cities. DeSantis caused a stir when he sent 2 planes to Texas, which flew migrants to Florida and then deposited them, the article says, in Martha's Vineyard, Massachusetts. Okay, I remember when that happened, and I want to say some were even taken to the home, the residence, the office maybe of, I think the home of our vice president. Okay, do y'all remember that? Now, another question is, okay, what other factors affect migration and border policy? Okay, Congress, the article says, is working on legislation to address immigration and border security. But politically, a bipartisan deal is unlikely. And most of what is moving in Congress is focused on enforcement only. Okay, this is what the article is saying. Weather always is a factor, with warmer temperatures bringing seasonal flows, as are job availability and the need for laborers in various industries in the U.S. Okay, the focus on the numbers arriving at the border now may be obscuring views of the changing immigration patterns. Okay, this is a quote by Ruiz Soto. Let me see, I quoted that person earlier. They are the policy analyst at the Migration Policy Institute. Okay. Let's see, hold on just a second. Okay. New immigration trends are emerging, with increases in arrival from Colombia, Ecuador, and Peru. Okay, here's a quote that's said by Ruiz Soto, who said, and I quote, "Our U.S. immigration system is designed to deter Mexican immigration." Okay, do you all agree with that or disagree? And the quote continues by saying, "As migration flows become increasingly hemispheric, it is clear our immigration system is outdated and significantly ill-equipped." Okay, so you all let me know your thoughts on that. Again, Title 42 is ending May 11th. What did I do with my water, y'all? Hold on. Title 42 is ending on May 11th, the same day, okay, that the Biden administration is expected to formally announce an end to the public health emergency of, y'all know what I'm talking about, okay? I'm trying to find my water. And this is it right here. Let me see. I'm drinking mint water. Okay, I want to take your questions, comments. Does anyone have a comment on anything that I have shared? Anyone have a comment on anything that I have shared? Questions, comments, concerns? There was also an update on Title 42. Let me see if I can find it, y'all. Thank you so much, Mike777. You know, all of this seems to be connected. In one of my other live videos, I made the connection of, okay, the World Health Organization. Let's look at the timeline of events, y'all. Thank you. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. You know, I made the connection of last Friday, the World Health Organization announced a end to the global public health emergency. On that same day, this past Friday, May 5th, the director of the CDC, Dr. Walensky, she announced her resignation. At the same time, or on the same date, that our U.S. Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, was visiting the CDC, okay? He said that his visit and the CDC director's announcement of her resignation were a coincidence, okay? Whether you believe that or not. And now here we are this week. The Biden administration is announcing an end to the public health emergency of COVID. Well, I almost said it, y'all. Y'all know what I mean, right? This platform is crazy. Don't like that word. The Biden administration is announcing an end to the public health emergency here related to that word, right? And on that same date, Title 42 is ending. And all of these migrants, okay, are expected to cross over into the border, into our country. Now, do you all believe that all of this is a coincidence? Y'all don't think that this is somehow, I'm going to cut my air conditioner on, y'all, because I'm starting to sweat now. Y'all don't think that this is all somehow tied in together? You know, a lot of you all say a lot of times, you know, like this is part of a bigger plan. It's a strategy. And, you know, the more I lay the cards out and try to connect the dots, it seems like It's all somehow connected. How are all of these things going on at the same time? And again, I ask the question, why isn't our current administration doing enough to secure our border? Do they not think that, do they not feel that that is an important enough issue? You know, it seemed like with everything going on, y'all, it seems like our country really is at a critical point, almost a weak point, right? And what I mean, why I say that is, there are certain areas. Think about our banking system, right? The banking system, inflation, banking crisis, inflation, housing. There's so many different crises that are going on right now throughout many different areas in not only our country, but in the world. Now you said something then, Mike 777. You know, it almost seemed like, I don't want to say the things are falling apart, but it's just really, it's hard to explain how everything that's going on, what type of effect, what type of impact that's having on our country, our economy. Let me keep going, y'all. There was something else I wanted to point out about Title 42. Now I got the hiccups. All right, let me keep reading, y'all. Hold on. Okay. All right, the United States, this article says, is bracing for the expiration of a pandemic-era border restriction this week, with officials fearing it will spur a surge of migrants and exacerbate an already challenging humanitarian crisis at the southern border. Okay. No matter how much we are prepared, here's a quote by the deputy director of the Opportunity Center for the Homeless in El Paso, Texas, said that, and I quote, "No matter how much we are prepared, I don't think we're going to be prepared enough." This person was also quoted as saying, and I quote, "I wanted to emphasize more so than anything else at this point, this is a national issue. We in El Paso," the quote says, "we in El Paso, along with many other communities along the southern border, just happen to be at the front doorstep." Okay. That will change Thursday. Okay. This Thursday, May 11th, when the public health emergency and Title 42 along with it is set to lapse or expire amid unprecedented mass migration in the Western Hemisphere. Okay. I'm telling y'all, if this expires with no intervention, no solution set in place, I feel like it's going to be one day in history for the books. I don't know if our country has ever seen anything like this before. You all can let me know. Has this happened before where just waves and waves, you know, there have always been talks about, you know, border people crossing into the border, but has it ever been like this though? Someone who runs a shelter at an El Paso church, whose surrounding streets have become a camp for hundreds of migrants, had this to say, and I quote, "This is an international issue, and we're just like the neck of the bottle or funnel." Okay, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, the article says, has already seen an uptick in migrants crossing the border with Mexico, with more than 8,000 daily encounters, according to a Homeland Security official, a number that officials predict could reach 10,000 once Title 42 is lifted. Think about that, y'all. Okay, are y'all hearing what I'm saying? Let me read that again, okay? Let me see. I'm just reading some of your comments here. You know, I think this is definitely a time that people should, be strong in their faith. Mike 777. I'm telling you. Okay, y'all, let me keep reading. This person, here's another person, the Department of Homeland Security Secretary said, and I quote, I think there's no question that this is going to be I'm sorry, let me go back and read it. Sorry about that, y'all. The Department of Homeland Security Secretary had this to say, and I quote, I think there is no question that this is going to be extremely challenging. And they were quoted as saying, I do not want to understate the severity of the challenge that we expect to encounter. Okay. This is a big issue, y'all. I don't know. Some people may say, okay, well, it doesn't affect me, or I don't live in that area. I'm way across the United States, or I'm in a different country, or not a different country, but in a different state. But this has the potential to impact us all. Not only because we have more people coming into our country, we have to think our communities equipped with the resources, the space, to help people. Okay. And if not, where's the money? Where's the money, the facilities, the resources going to come from? And like I said, in a crisis, if let's say, okay, these people, they got to have food, water. It may come from your local community. Okay. In other words, they may take from you in order to give to them so that their needs can be met, right? Have you all thought about that? Okay. All right, let me keep going. I'm almost finished, y'all, so thank you so much for bearing with me. But federal officials have long been preparing for the end of Title 42, they're saying, okay? Saying the government was ready. So the same person, right? The Department of Homeland Security Secretary, Alejandro Mayorkas, okay? Let me make sure I get the name right. Okay, so here's a quote. So the quote by the Department of Homeland Security Secretary, that was Alejandro Mayorkas, said Friday in Brownsville, Texas, during a visit to the Rio Grande Valley, and I quote, I think that there's no question that this is going to be extremely challenging. And he was quoted as saying, and I quote, I do not want to understate the severity of the challenge, okay, that we are expected to encounter, okay? But he also claims, okay, listen to this now, that we have a plan. We are executing on that plan. But still, in a news conference Monday morning, Texas Governor Greg Abbott, who it seems like he's been trying to sound the alarm on this for quite some time, right? He's been sounding the alarm on this issue, okay? Listen to this, y'all, okay? Texas Governor Greg Abbott had this to say. He likened the expiration of Title 42 as the laying out of a welcome mat to migrants across the world, okay? Is this an opportunity for people? This is something to think about, y'all. Are people coming from around the world, okay, going to Mexico, or somehow getting from wherever they're coming from, right? Just fluffing out my afro, y'all, okay? Are people from other parts of the world flying in, however they're getting there, right? Are they coming to this area specifically for the opportunity to cross over into the U.S. border? Is that happening? As I reported in the article, we talk about Mexico, Ecuador, Peru, other countries, but are other people being sent to this area from other countries, and they are coming into the United States? Do you all think that could be the case as well? All right, y'all, let me keep going. You all, please make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Like this video, share this video. And I also want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel as well, okay? All right, listen. Still, in a news conference Monday morning, the article says, okay, in a news conference Monday morning, Texas Governor Greg Abbott likened the expiration. Hey everyone, thank you all so much for tuning in. Please give this video a thumbs up. That will let me know that you can hear me as well as see me, okay? Texas Governor Greg Abbott likened the expiration of Title 42 as laying out a welcome mat to migrants across the world, signaling to them that America's borders are wide open. Is that what is happening, y'all? Our borders are wide open. Do you see how this could potentially, or is potentially, a dangerous situation? Do you all see that? Do you get that? What are your personal thoughts on this situation? This is an interactive channel. If you're watching for the first time and you're not a subscriber, I would like to invite you to subscribe to the channel, join our community. I'm sitting in the car, y'all. The door ain't even locked. What is going on? I think maybe because I don't know why they just did that, but I don't usually do that, okay? All right, y'all. So, let me keep reading. Let me see. Hold on just one moment. Are our borders wide open? Is this an opportunity for people to come from all parts of the world, okay, and just flood into our country? So Texas Governor Greg Abbott actually had this to say, and I quote, it will lead to an incredible amount of people coming across the border illegally, okay? Texas Governor Greg Abbott said, adding the administration's policies would, and I quote, cause a catastrophic disaster, okay? Advocates are saying that migrant arrivals bringing border cities to the brink, okay? Again, that's what I was talking about. The fact that, you know, these communities, you know, they're really at the forefront of what's happening. And so, you know, they're really on the front line. They're some of the very first ones who will experience this wave or influx of migrants. And not only that, but they will experience a reduction in their, or a strain in their resources, okay? So, okay, El Paso, Texas. Okay, you heard me mention them as well. El Paso, the article states, declared a state of emergency ahead of Title 42's expiration. Has about 2,300 migrants living on the streets, around 2 shelters downtown. Officials said last Thursday, describing the population as one of mixed legal status, with some who turn themselves into U.S. immigration authorities and others who cross the border illegally, okay? That's in addition to an estimated 330 migrants staying inside the shelters. A survey of 258 migrants by one shelter determined about 41% were processed by U.S. immigration authorities, while 59%, listen to this, y'all, these are some numbers, while 59%, okay, had illegally entered the country. According to Martin, who told CNN there were about 950 people camped outside in his center's alley, okay? Here's another quote that says, we're still able to feed them, but in all honesty, that's not sustainable. That's not sustainable operation at this point. He said, adding the center has moved to serving 2 meals instead of 3. So now they're receiving less meals, okay? Their meals have been cut back, something only possible with the American Red Cross and a local food bank, okay? More could be on the way. El Paso Mayor Oscar Lecier estimated up to 15,000. Remember, I was just asked y'all a little while ago, I said, okay, think about the community that you live in, right? Could your community handle an extra 15,000 people coming in? Okay, think about that. Could your community, could your local city, could they handle an extra 10,000, 15,000 people in the community? Think about how that will put a strain on your resources, all of those different areas, y'all. Think about that, okay? It seems like El Paso is one of those communities who is going through it right now. The things that I'm talking about, think about if, this were to happen in your local community. El Paso, it seems like, is that local community where they're actually going through what I'm talking about. Okay. The El Paso mayor was quoted as saying this: "We are a border city. We do have requirements and we do have responsibilities that we have to do, but these people aren't coming to El Paso. We all know that." Okay. He says that they're coming to the United States of America. Okay. Tijuana, across the border from nearby San Diego, has about 6,000 migrants waiting in shelters and homes across the city, according to Enrique Lucero, the city's director of migrant affairs. A growing number of migrants are jumping the border fence, okay, and swimming across the border, Lucero said, but the shelter's numbers don't drop because more migrants arrive each day, and some are of nationalities he's never seen there before, hailing from places like Kazakhstan, Mauritania, Uzbekistan, and Kyrgyzstan. Okay. So again, y'all, I asked the question, okay, are people coming in from other countries and somehow making their way into the United States? Are they coming from other countries, right? Somehow making their way to Mexico, making their way to this area for no other reason but to enter the United States. Okay, you all let me know your thoughts on this. Hold on, y'all. Let me just share to... Okay, just sharing to our community tab. Okay, so again, y'all, you have a growing number, according to this information, we have a growing number of migrants who are jumping the border fence, swimming across the border, but the shelter numbers don't drop because basically just as many people are leaving as those who are coming, right? Just as many people are coming as those who are leaving. So it's not really making a huge adjustment in the numbers, so to speak. Okay. The El Paso governor was also quoted as saying, hold on just a minute, y'all. Let me make sure I got the right person quoting this. Oh, the city's director of migrant affairs was quoted as saying, "We're at the brink of a humanitarian crisis." Okay. The impact of Title 42's expiration could be felt far beyond the border, particularly in cities that have in recent months become the target. Listen, y'all, y'all, I'm gonna be honest, this is CNN, so you know how they go, right? I pick and choose what I report on from CNN. But CNN is saying this, y'all. Let me point this out, right? CNN is saying the impact, these are not my words, y'all. Listen to what CNN is saying. CNN is saying the impact of Title 42's expiration could be felt far beyond the border, particularly in cities that have in recent months become the targets for Republican governors and officials in southern states sending buses of migrants elsewhere. Okay, that's become a full-blown crisis for New York City. The article is also saying about 58,300 asylum seekers have arrived and been processed through the city's shelter system over nearly a year, with more than 36,100 currently in the city's care as of the end of April. Okay, that's according to City Hall. Mayor Eric Adams, the article says, has been vocal in his calls for more aid, saying the migrant arrivals in his city and others in the Northeast should be handled by the federal government. Okay, do you agree or disagree with his stance? The financial burden, he said recently, is also taking a toll on the city, which on Friday was awarded. Okay. Hi, Jumardi TV. Thank you so much for tuning in. And again, y'all, if you're watching for the first time, I want to invite you to subscribe, join our community. Okay. Jumardi TV, share your thoughts on this topic. Okay. I'm talking about Title 42 ending. Okay. Ending this Thursday, May 11th, on the same day that the Biden administration is going to declare an end to the public health emergency as it relates to the pandemic. Okay. So please let me know your thoughts on that. Okay. All right. So You even have the okay, thank you so much. Shout out to you in the Philippines, okay? I appreciate your support. All right, the Philippines are even supporting Andrea Speaks TV. That's what's up, okay? Let me know, how is the weather? How are things in the Philippines, okay? Are you all seeing any shortages, water shortages, food shortages? How is the economy? How are things going in the Philippines, okay? Are you all being affected by a rise in groceries, a rise in gas prices? Let me know what's happening in the Philippines, okay? Let me see, what does SW stand for? Let me know what SW stands for. I want to make sure I don't miss anything. Let's see. That's pretty much it, y'all. Title 42 again is ending on this Thursday. This Thursday, which is May 11th. Okay. Again, I don't want to come on, and I definitely don't want to make it seem like I'm bashing migrants coming in. You know, like I said, not everyone is coming to do ill will. There are some people who are fleeing their home country due to it may be a war going on. Okay. It could be a natural disaster happening. It could be other factors, right? We can't assume, or we should not assume, that all people are we should not assume that hold on just a minute, y'all. Let me see. Hold on just a minute, y'all. Let me see. Okay, let me see. That was a comment. Still visit live Sunday. I give me more banana. What do you mean by that? I'm trying to understand what that means. That doesn't make sense to me. Did you use the wrong word? Let me know what you meant by that, because that could be taken several different ways. You know, this is a place here on the channel. This is a place of respect. And as long as you respect me, I will respect you. Okay, so you're saying that where you're from, banana is subscriber? I never heard of that. I never heard of subscribers referred to as bananas. I never heard of that, but I'm glad you clarified that. Okay. Let me keep moving on, y'all. Okay, make sure you like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel. Okay, join our community. All right, let's see. All right, so please share your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on Title 42. If anyone would like to share their thoughts on Title 42. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's even what that person meant, but I had to go ahead and see about that. Okay, y'all. So, again, whether you're watching now live or watching the replay, please share your thoughts on the topic of Title 42 ending. Again, y'all, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to make you aware of what I feel like is a very serious issue that has the potential to affect us all. And so, if anything, I want you to be aware of that, okay? All right, any other questions or comments, concerns before we end the live? Okay, any other comments, questions, concerns? All right, y'all, so I'm gonna go ahead and hop off. Thank you all so much for supporting the channel. I appreciate each and every one of you all. Again, I want to invite you to subscribe to the channel if you're not a subscriber. Oh, thank you so much, Mike777. I wasn't sure if you all were still there. Do you have any final thoughts or comments yourself? Do you understand now, after the information I shared, do you better understand Title 42, the significance of Title 42, what it is, and why we should be concerned that Title 42 is ending? Please let me know if I shared some information that in some way made Title 42 easier for you to understand, you understand it better. Let me know your thoughts, okay? That's right. We got to keep the faith, okay? All right, y'all take care. Stay tuned. I'll be uploading more videos, news, and commentary you can use here on the channel. As always, thank you all so much for your support. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Be blessed. Stay safe. And by all means, keep preparing, okay? Talk to y'all later. Thank you so much for your support.